There was a table, not just any table, the table. The one in the center of the cafeteria where the right people sat. The ones who seemed to move through school like they owned the hallways, knew everyone's name, and had never once been accidentally enrolled in a drama club. Stick had walked past that table every day for 2 months. He had never thought much about it. Until one of them waved at him, it was probably a mistake. It was almost certainly a mistake. But Stick waved back and the guy nodded, and for approximately 45 minutes, Stick convinced himself this meant something. Spoony found out in under 4 minutes. "This is IT," Spoony announced, appearing from nowhere with the clipboard, the same clipboard, still in service, possibly immortal. "This is your invitation. This is your moment. We just need to make sure you don't ruin it." He waved at me. He acknowledged you. That's basically the same as being invited. Step 1. Spike raised a tine. "We don't know these people. We're about to. That's not how that works." Mugsy walked past, looked at the clipboard, kept walking. The clipboard had been on enough adventures that Mugsy no longer needed to comment. His silence was the comment. The prep began immediately. Spoony had a list. The list had categories. The categories had subcategories. By the end of the first session, Stick had a new way of laughing. Not his actual laugh. A different laugh. One Spoony described as casual but engaging, and had been coached on exactly 3 approved topics of conversation. Spike watched this from the corner, tines all the way down. The eyes softer than usual. "He has a perfectly good laugh," Spike said to no one in particular. The first approach did not go badly, it just didn't go anywhere. Stick walked past the table, delivered one of the 3 approved topics, sports, Spike had predicted. This was a bad idea, and the guy who waved nodded and said, "Yeah, for sure," and turned back to his friends. Spoony updated the list. The second approach went worse. Stick had been coached to laugh at things before they were funny. The pre-laugh, Spoony called it, the laugh that shows you're already in on the joke. He deployed the pre-laugh at something that turned out not to be a joke. The table went quiet for 2 full seconds. Stick kept the pre-laugh going for one of those seconds before realizing Mugsy, watching from across the cafeteria, slowly put down his food. "I feel that," he said. The third approach was the SHO worst. Spoony had decided Stick needed to dress differently for the afternoon. Small adjustments, he said, nothing dramatic. Stick arrived back in the cafeteria wearing something that was technically his own clothes, but arranged in a way that communicated nothing accurately about who he was. The table didn't react. His own friends didn't recognize him for 3 seconds. Spike was the first to identify him. Stick looked down at himself, Spoony said. "I know," Spike said. "I know," Spoony said. Lumi found Stick at the end of the day. Same hallway, same corner. Hat not present this time. They had learned from the hat. Just Stick, sitting against the lockers, looking at nothing. "Did it work?" she asked. "No." Lumi sat beside him. The glow in her chest was steady. She didn't say anything for a moment. "Can I ask you something?" Stick looked at her. "What do you actually know about them?" "The people at the table?" Stick thought about it. "The guy plays basketball." "I think Spoony said sports was a safe topic." "What else?" "That's it," Lumi nodded. "You spent 3 days trying to become someone they'd like. Did you ever check if you actually liked them?" Stick said nothing. There's a concept called self-concept clarity. It's the degree to which you know who you are clearly, consistently, even when nobody's watching. People with high self-concept clarity don't need to change how they laugh for a table. Not because they're more confident, because they already know what they're bringing. The problem wasn't that you tried to fit in. The problem was you tried to fit into a group you don't know anything about. Stick looked at the ceiling. So, what was I actually doing? Trying to escape the feeling of not belonging? Which is real and valid. But the table wasn't the answer, it was just the nearest exit. From down the hallway, Spoony running. Clipboard raised, Stick. "I have a new approach. Step 4, we identify their interests from their social media," and Mugsy stepped out. "No. Spike, behind Mugsy please." Stick looked at Lumi. Lumi looked at Stick. He stood up, walked back toward the cafeteria, past the table in the center, didn't stop. Kept walking until he reached the far corner where Spike was already sitting. Tines relaxed, reading something. where Mugsy was already there, arms crossed. The expression of someone who had saved a seat by not moving from it, where Spoony eventually arrived. Clipboard, underarm, grin intact, completely unbothered by the last 3 days. Stick sat down. Hey, Spike said. Hey, Stick said. And that was the whole thing. That was the whole thing. Does Stick ever actually talk to the table?